But class was in session at the State House today. Lawmakers in the House Education Committee debated whether students who walk out of school to protest should be penalized with unexcused absence. As Abby Wilt reports, students and lawmakers had very different lessons to share. When the school bell rings,
this is extremely disruptive to the education process.
Should students sit down or speak out?
Most high school students that this bill would target aren't even old enough to vote.
That question was put to the test in the House Education Committee Wednesday, where lawmakers debated whether students who walk out of class to protest should be marked with an unexcused absence.
It's a waste of taxpayer money for students to leave their classrooms to do so.
This bill helps school boards understand that as a state, we do not condone protests.
For Cruz Beezer,
in the previous month,
he says walking out gives him a voice to speak about issues that matter to him.
Even if stuff doesn't affect me as like an individual, it still affects the community and the people I stand by. And it hurts to see people in our community being harmed by people who don't understand their story.
I'm obviously a very proud parent.
And his mom, Jen, teared up in committee as she listened to him testify. She says not allowing a student's parent to excuse an absence for any reason is an infringement of her parental rights.
At the end of every day, the parents are the arbiters of the children, and so that was a real key component for me.
Lawmakers were split on the issue.
Does this really need to be legislated?
Some lawmakers even remembering when they walked out or protested as kids.
I remember we did a walkout because we didn't agree with the public school dress code, that women weren't in our school, the women weren't allowed to wear Levi's. And we walked out at noon. And it was quite an enjoyable afternoon, as I remember.
Others say taxpayers are paying for kids to go to school, not to protest. And they say students can protest outside of school hours if they choose.
And when we have large groups of children walking out to protest, many times probably for what they don't understand or what they've been told without critical thinking itself, there's some big issues there. The children should not be used for this. They need to be learning.
In the end,
Hostetler.
Yes.
Bealey.
No.
this bill failed the final exam.
Motion dies on a tie.
So for now, students can still walk out and protest without automatically getting an unexcused absence. Several of the students that testified said walkouts were usually scheduled in the last 20 minutes of class. So they were questioning what the difference was of leaving school early for a walkout versus leaving school early for something like a trip. The comment about critical thinking is interesting. Sometimes you're supporting your classmates. Okay, Abby, did lawmakers at all point to any previous rulings on something like this to kind of form their opinions at all? Yeah, the Supreme Court case Tinker v. Des Moines was brought up a lot with that famous quote that case is known for of students' rights aren't left at the gates of the school. Now, some lawmakers said, yes, this is spot on, we're going to follow this. Some lawmakers were saying, you know, these are very different situations. So everyone was taking that differently. Well, it failed. I wouldn't be surprised to see it again next year. Who knows what will happen there, because it's repeat sometimes. Yeah. All right, Abby, thank you.